Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to a series on my channel called 5-Minute Book Talk, where I take roughly 5 minutes to talk about a book that I have read while I flip through the book. Warning, there will be spoilers in this video, and there are also mentions of animal abuse and child abuse and abuse of women, so I'm also giving you a trigger warning as well. Today, I'm finally going to talk about Wuthering Heights, the novel by Emily Bronte. I have a read with me video of this book on my channel, which I will link in the description box. Now, I have to admit that it is only now that I have read this book as a primary text for the very first time in my life ever. But I have read so many analyses of it and excerpts of it and references to it because it is such a canonical work. It is a piece of classic literature. So I know what it's about. I know the plot and the characters and the setting and also the milieu in which it was written. I know what world Emily Bronte was in when she wrote the novel, which heavily influenced her writing. And I even know the author's intention because people have researched and analyzed that too. There were quite a few adaptations, but I have never seen those for some reason. Maybe because it did not appeal to me at the time because I was thinking that it was not the primary text anyway, and I already knew what was going to happen. But finally, now that I'm done with all of the travels for the year and I have less things to deal with, I have time to sit down, recline, not relax, and finally read the legendary primary text of Wuthering Heights exactly as Emily Bronte has written it, literally from start to finish. And oh my gosh, it was so difficult to read. Oh my gosh, most especially towards the end. In the beginning, it was very nice. It was very atmospheric. I really could almost hear and feel the wuthering of the wind in the moors of Wuthering Heights, which blew through the house at Wuthering Heights, dark and gloomy and reverberating with loneliness and regret for the past. The house at Wuthering Heights was a stark contrast to the house at Thrushcross Grange, which was portrayed as light and happy and airy and contemporary at the time. I really like books that set an atmosphere right at the beginning, so that was really good. I can navigate that, and if you throw in a house that is dark and lonely, that I really dig. But it was the people in the novel that was so difficult to navigate for me. Usually in novels or in works of fiction, the house is a reflection of or a clue to what its inhabitants are like. And then again, I already knew what the inhabitants were like because of all of the secondary texts that I have read about this novel. I know it's Gothic, and Gothic deals with dark settings and dark emotions and dark problems, but none of those secondary texts had prepared me for the terrible person that is Heathcliff. Such an animalistic, maniacal, enraged man who is so abusive emotionally and mentally and physically. Do I blame him for turning out that way? Not completely, but by the time he was an adult, he was supposed to be responsible for his own healing, right? He was found as a baby by Catherine's father, abandoned along a road, and brought him home to Wuthering Heights, but he was not given a good childhood, even if Catherine and her brother Hindley were okay. It was the mid-1800s. People in general were not really aware of what children really needed, beyond food and shelter and clothing and some amount of love. Love, also, specifically love for children, was interpreted in vastly different ways by different people. The children at Wuthering Heights, Catherine and Hindley, were certainly loved, quote unquote, differently than Edgar and Isabella were at Thrushcross Grange, so they turned out differently as adults. But still, it hurts me so much that the children who were raised well by good parents in a stable home ended up being the victims of a child who was raised badly in an unstable home. Like, where is the justice? Was there justice in the novel? I don't think so. Everyone ended up destroyed or dead, and they died lonely or in emotional pain, including the pet dog that was hanged by the abominable Heathcliff. But I knew this, I swear, like I said, because of all of the secondary texts that I have read, but the primary text really destroyed me. which is a testament to what effective a writer Emily Bronte was, that she can still slice open the heart of her readers, or this reader, me, with just words on a page, even if I have already prepared myself for what was coming. Emily Bronte is that good, hands down. She's one of the best writers of all time. The novel was so difficult for me to read, but I knew I had to finish reading it out of respect for Emily Bronte, who must have bled and cried rivers writing the book because she wanted to make a very strong point about how women were treated in that era. You cannot call the police on the men that hit you and emotionally torment you on purpose. It didn't work that way. You can't get much help from people around you either. Ugh, I'm so triggered, but that is roughly 5 minutes already. Please read the book. You must.